Most people are aware of the actual low-tier characters in the game, whether it's Pichu, Zelda, Kirby, Bowser, but what if I told you there was more? If we wanted to, we could technically extend the Melee roster a little bit more, and actually Bowser wouldn't look so bad. Ironically, these characters were ranked on one of Melee's tier lists, but completely ignored in future tier lists because for obvious reasons, no one really plays them. They had their very own tier called the Gengar tier, and no, I didn't make that up. I know you read the title. How the are Master Hand and Crazy Hand bad? When I call these characters bad, it's because they break the conventions of a Smash character. I mean, these characters aren't meant to be played at all, but they can be, with glitches and the debug mode. These characters are so unconventional, they can't be KO'd, their entire moveset is only usable with the D-pad, and they have no smash attacks, no special moves, no jabs, no tilts, just D-pad attacks. They can't receive knockback, which again points to them not being KO'd. And let me say it again, these characters cannot be KO'd. The only way these characters can quote-unquote be knocked out is if the game mode is on HP and they lose all of their health. They dipping right out of here. Very similar to if you defeat them in single-player mode, but both of these characters are just straight-up trash. They're simply just standing targets. You can't even move around the stage with these characters, so things like dash dancing and wave dashing all go out the window with these characters. So you can play these characters if you really want to, you can, but who am I kidding? Don't play these guys, you'll thank me later. Stay to the end of the video if you want to know a secret character that these two characters can actually beat. So surprise, surprise, there's actually people who lab this character. And I don't recommend that unless you're insane enough, like someone like me who is insane enough to make a video on these characters and have lurked on old 2010 Smashboard posts to research this topic. I'm sure most of you already know there's plenty of well-known exploits where you can use the Melee character select screen to your advantage and play as characters like Master Hand by doing the name entry glitch. This is the most popular version of the glitch as you get to play as Master Hand and Crazy Hand. Fun fact, this glitch was discovered 8 years after the release of Melee. Pretty wild. Now through analyzing these ancient Smashboards posts and character guides, people were actually trying to lab Master Hand and Crazy Hand, which sounds crazy to even say in a sentence, but yes, there was people trying to. Here's something that has stayed consistent. Obviously these characters are mostly going to be banned in tournaments. They require an obscure glitch to even work, and while these characters are certainly not good by any stretch of the means, probably will never be tournament legal in our lifetimes, and you're never going to see somebody win a bracket with Master Hand and Crazy Hand. If someone does, feel free to clown on honest content though, I'd like to see it happen myself. What if in some way we could classify what type of characters these two guys are? Master Hand and Crazy Hand are essentially the same characters, so if you really want to go and talk about what type of character they are, you could really say Crazy Hand is a clone of Master Hand. They share some of the same moves, and usually if Master Hand has an attack, Crazy Hand has a similar version of it or a more wackier, crazier version of that attack. See what I did there? Here's a funny thing that I saw in that really old Smashboards post from 2010. They stated, if you can get good with Master Hand, who can't you get good with? Now that's deep. Their moveset is extremely slow but powerful, and I mean slower than Bowser's slow. Their attacks are very predictable. They have pretty obvious trajectory on where they're going to go because they wind up on a lot of their attacks, and you can punish them really easily by just hitting them. They have crazy amounts of end lag on their attacks. Some attacks are really nerfed on some stages. They have no shield, no spot dodge, no roll. They're a giant floating hand target. The inverse of this is you actually can't get grabbed, your attacks are dummy strong, you have range, and you're invincible to knockback. Those are the positives. So here are Master Hand and Crazy Hand's attacks. I'm going to explain them because I know most of you people have no idea what they actually do. I myself had no idea what these attacks really do because I'm just spamming buttons in single player mode. I honestly needed a refresher myself. Again, every single attack requires the D-pad. Master Hand and Crazy Hand also share a lot of the same attacks, so some of them will be unique between the two of them, but most of them are going to be the same. Something I wanted to emphasize is how slow these characters truly are. While you guys are looking at their moveset, one thing to mention is the amount of end lag on each attack and the considerable amount of startup that these moves have. You can't just go right on to the next move and do whatever you want. You have to wait until Master Hand reaches the starting point again, and then he can hit you. This is obviously because he's a boss character and he's not meant to be a playable character, but it does affect his viability. I hope these moves also just go to show how slow and just the amount of windup that are on his attacks. Some of his moves can actually do more than 30%, which is actually decent. But however, you're not really linking combos together with this character. It's very much you hit your opponent, or at least try to, and then you reset back to neutral, and then your opponent is probably going to get some hits in, and then maybe you can hit him after that. It's very much a tug of war with this character, and again, it's because they were programmed to be boss characters, not playable characters. But it does go to show he does have some strong moves in his kit. A lot of them are going to be more situational though. The secret character that Master Hand could quote-unquote beat. Thank you guys for staying through the whole video. You guys got a little treat here. In the early days, people thought it was possible for Master Hand and Crazy Hand to counterpick one melee top tier. That character was Jigglypuff. Jigglypuff benefits from her moves having high amounts of knockback, and while these characters don't receive any knockback at all, also makes it kind of decent to deal with Jigglypuff. Rest leaves her vulnerable to get punished by these characters. The fact that she's also so light, Master Hand can use this to his advantage, and because of his attacks having so much power and knockback, can kind of kill Puff early if he gets lucky enough. Again, if he gets lucky enough. Master Hand is normally going to counterpick to a stage that Jigglypuff also doesn't normally like, and that stage is Yoshi's Story, which happens to be Puff's worst stage and Master Hand and Crazy Hand's best stage. However, I don't think that means that Hungrybox would lose to Master Hand. Jigglypuff would just have to outmaneuver his attacks, avoid using rest at all, and just stick to spacing aerials and avoiding his attacks, and Jigglypuff should be fine. Oh yeah, and Master Hand can do this pretty dumb Glazer glitch. I thought it was kind of cute, kind of funny. Yeah, obviously they're not going to be good. I mean, you're not supposed to really play as them, but hey, who am I to say you can't play as who you want to play as in this game? If you are a Master Hand and Crazy Hand main, though, let me know in the comments. I do want to know if you guys exist. Alright you guys, thank you guys for watching. You guys have a good one. Peace out and stay safe.